Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel that is Nursing Tricks. I hope you all are doing well, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon to get the latest notification from my channel. So today we will see about the statistics. You will not find the much of the videos in the nursing profession in this particular subject. So that is why on request I am making the videos on the statistics. So in this particular video, let me give you the overview of this particular video. So here we will see the introduction of the statistics, that why in this our profession it is required to study the statistics, the definition, the uses of the statistics, applications, various terms that are used in the statistics. And this video is very important for you people, because if you will see this particular video, then only you will have a base and you will understand the next videos. Okay, so please focus on this terms, types of data, and the scales of the measurement. So coming on to the introduction. So first I have told you that I will tell you the introduction, that why it is needed to study the statistics. So let me tell you that the word statistics, when we are taking, it conveys a variety of meanings to variety of people in a different walks of life. And to some it could be an imposing form of mathematics only, containing only the tables, charts, and the figures, but which can be commonly we can find in the newspaper, journals, and the books, reports, speeches, classroom lectures, etc. And to other, statistics can be the means to gather the information about any group. So it varies. If you will see to the definition of the statistics, if you will just ask to the layman, so the definition of these statistics will vary from person to person. Next thing is that every day we are exposed to a wide array of the numerical information. Even if you are working somewhere, or if you are just pursuing your bachelor degrees, you can see that variety of numbers are there. So that numbers, if you will not arrange in a particular manner, they will not form, you cannot predict that what exactly is the meaning of that particular number. Okay, so like for example, let me give you an example. There are 933 females per 1000 males. Okay, so on an average, for 400 students, there is only one book written, published, and printed. So whenever you are comparing it with the some other thing, it means just having a data, you cannot predict anything from the raw data. So you need to make a data array. So all these terms that I am using in my introduction, definitely these terms will be clear to you when I will define the various terms that are used in the statistics. Okay, so the next thing, I hope the introduction, that why it is required to study the statistics, it is clear to you. Now the second thing that I have written in my previous pages, that is the definition. Okay, so now the definition of whom? The definition of statistics. And if you have any doubt, you can just leave your message in the comment box. In the next video, I will try to clear all your doubts. Okay, so now coming on to the definition of statistics. So from where this word has come and what is the meaning of this word statistics? So the root of the word statistics comes from the Italian word statista. Okay, so it has come from the word statista. Statista. This is the word statista, and it has come from the Italian word statista. So this statista is a Italian word. It is a Italian word, and the meaning of this statista is the statesman. Statesman. Okay, so if someone asks you from where this word has originated, so then you can say that it has originated from the original word, that is the statista, which is the Italian word meaning statesman. And if you will say in the German, then it has come from the word statistic. Okay, the difference is here they have just changed it from the C to K, and the meaning is the political state. I hope this much is clear to you, that the definition, if I will talk about the definition, the word statistics, if you will say, it has originated from the word, Italian word, the word is statista, meaning statesman. And if you will see in the German, it has originated from the word statistic, and the spelling is a bit different, that is Stastik. So we have changed it from C to K, and the meaning is the political state. Now let us see the definition given by the Croxton and Cowden, scientist Croxton and the Cowden. Okay, so the definition they have given is, they say that statistics is defined as the collection, first you need to collect. Now what we need to collect? The collection of the data. Okay, and secondly you need to present. Collection, presentation, then analysis, and then the interpretation. Okay, so now we can make the definition of our own. The definition says that the statistics is defined as the collection, it is defined as the presentation, it is defined as the analysis and the interpretation of what? Of numerical data. Okay, so this is the definition which is given by the Croxton and Cowden. So till here we have seen the introduction, we have seen the definition, and from where this word statistics has come from, and the definition given by the Croxton and the Cowden. Let's move forward. The third thing that I have told you, we will see the uses. The uses of the statistics. Now, why is it required to study this particular subject in our profession? Okay, so let us see the various uses. So, number one uses, it presents the facts in a definite form. It presents the fact in a definite form. Definite form means if you have some fact, that fact can be represented in a definite form with this statistics. Okay, next is it facilitates the comparison. If you want to compare something, for example, I have given you, if you will see the ratio, if you want to see that how many females are there per 1,000 males. Okay, so you are comparing that how many females are there per 1,000 males. So in the comparison, you can use this statistics. Third is it simplifies the masses of figure. It simplifies the masses of figure. So if you have so many figures with you, it just simplify, and it can simplify in any form. We will see that which all forms we can use to simplify the data. And the next is that it helps in the formulating and testing the hypothesis. So it helps in the formulation and testing of the hypothesis. So formulation and the testing of hypothesis. Now this word hypothesis, these all words, if you will see my research classes, then these terms I have used there, and I have also cleared that what exactly this word hypothesis means. So please you can check those videos in which I have told you the meaning of hypothesis. Okay. Next is it helps in the prediction. So it helps in the prediction. Okay. So if you want to predict something, and if you have a raw data, then you will not be able to predict out the results. Okay, so you need to have the statistics in that. You need to have a data array which helps you in the prediction. So here we have seen that why it is required to study this particular subject. So we have seen total 5 uses, that it represents the facts in a definite form.
it facilitates the comparison, it simplifies the masses of figure or the bunch of the figures, it helps in formulation and testing of the hypothesis, and it also helps in the prediction. Okay, then next thing we have seen is we will see the applications where all you can apply this statistics. So the applications of the statistics in the health sciences, it can be conceptualized into the use of the following categories. Let us see. So first is defining the normal and not normal in context of various aspects related to the health and illnesses. So if you want to just define the normal and not normal in the context of the health sciences, this particular subject or this particular thing will help you out in just separating out the normal and the not normal thing. Second thing is it also established the accuracy of the diagnostic procedures. So when we will study about the specificity and the your selectivity of the various tools that are used to diagnose the various this medical conditions, so you will see there they have used the statistics. Okay, thirdly, it is used in planning of the experiments and the analysis of the results. Nowadays you can see that most you have seen that so many of the experiments are going on. Okay, and those experiments are only helping us to generate the evidence based practices, and those evidence based practices are helping in this particular nursing profession to grow. Okay, so you can imagine that how important this statistics is. Then next is the observations on the this natural history of a disease, and then we can name the signs and symptoms, course, and then also assessment of the treatment protocols, and then collection, analysis, and dissemination of the various population health statistics. These all are the application. So what we have seen in the application, first we can just separate out the normal from the not normal thing, normal from the not normal thing, and then also we can establish the accuracy, and then also we can plan for the experiment, planning of the experiment, and you can say the analysis of the experiment, you can say the generation of the evidence based practices, you can say the assessment, and then you can also say the collection, analysis. So this all is the application. Okay, so here in this we have seen the uses and the applications. So let's move forward. So the next thing that we will see is the terms, the various terms. So this is very important. I am putting 2 stars here. Why? Because this is very important. If you will understand these terms, the next videos you will find those videos very easy, because I will be using these words, and if you will not understand the meaning of the terms here in this video, you will not be able to understand the words that I will be going to use. Okay, so the first word that I will be talking about is the data. Now what is this data? I have used this word so many times in this particular video only, that we will be analyzing the data, we will have a raw data, then we will make a data array. Okay, so data, if I will tell you the exact definition, the definition says that it is a set of values recorded on one or more observational units, or the factual information collected during the research studies. So this is data. Whenever you are collecting whenever you are recording one or more observational units, so that is data. Okay, for example, if you are recording the BP, okay, so you are writing that you have recorded the BP in mm of Hg. Okay, or if you are taking the height, or if you are taking the weight, so BP can be 120/80 for first person, for second person it can be 110/70. Okay, like this way. Okay, or when you are taking a height, for example, the height of a first person is 165 centimeter, for the second person it is 172 centimeter, and weight for first person it is 60 kg, and for the second person it is 50 kg. So this way, so this numerical information that you have recorded, this is the data. Okay, and the correct pronunciation of this word DATA is data, not data. Okay, So a set of values recorded on one or more observational units. Okay, it can be recorded in centimeter, or if you want to record it in inch, that will also be fine. Okay, so that is why they have said one or more observational units, or the factual information collected during the research studies. I hope this word is clear to you. That is data. Let's see the next word, the qualitative data. Qualitative data. And the third word that I will be using is the quantitative data. Quantitative data. So here I would like to tell you that in my video, which you will find in the research chapter 2, you will find the difference between these two words. I will not be talking much about these two words in this particular video, but yes, I will just tell you that what exactly these words means in a very short term. Okay, so the qualitative data is when the variables that yield the observation on which individuals can be categorized according to certain characteristics, or you can say the qualities are referred to as the qualitative variable or data. Whenever you are taking a qualities, okay, then it is a qualitative data. Now let me give you an example. With example you will find it much easier. For example, like gender, occupation, then marital status, and the educational level. This all is a qualitative data. Okay, now coming on to the quantitative data. Now quantity, you know, when we are measuring it in a kg, so kg is a number. Okay, so that is a qualitative data. The variables that yield the observations, it can be measured, and they are considered the quantitative data. For example, height, weight, BP, serum cholesterol, and so on. Okay, so this is the qualitative data. So till here, I hope it is clear to you, the data, term qualitative data, and the term quantitative data. Now next is the quantitative data is of two types, if you will talk in the aspect of the statistics. So one is the discrete data and one is the continuous data. Discrete data and the continuous data. Discrete and the continuous data. Now what is the difference between the discrete data and the continuous data? When we are talking about the discrete data, it is the data in a whole number. When you are taking something in a whole number, this is a discrete data. Now let us take an example. The example is number of children in a family. Example is number of children in a family. Now here you can understand the number of children in a family. You cannot say it is 1.5. You cannot say it is a 2.5. No, it can be the 1, it can be 2, it can be 3. Okay, so whenever you are taking it in a whole number, this is the discrete data. I hope this is clear to you. Whenever the data is in a whole number, it is a discrete data. Now what is the continuous data? The data which can be measured in a fractional values, such as example is your height, example is your weight, example is your body temperature. Now body temperature, we know it can be 98.4 degree Fahrenheit. Yes, it can be in points, it can be measured in points. Okay, so it is the data which can be measured in a fractional units, that is your continuous data. Okay, so here we have seen that qualitative data in the statistics is of two types, that is a discrete data or it can be a continuous data. Discrete data, whenever you are taking a data in a whole number, that is a discrete data, and if you have a data in a fractional units as well, then it is a continuous data. Then next term is the parameters. Next term is the parameters. Now what is this parameters? Characteristics of a population. This is the parameter. So parameter here is the characteristics of the population. So this is defined as your parameter. Now let us see that this Example for this example is average age of all the nurses in the particular state. So this is the parameter. This is the parameter. Okay, the characteristics of a particular population. We can say that the average age of all the nurses in particular hospital. So this is the characteristics which you are defining, that average age is this. So this is the parameter. Let's see the next term. So the next term is let us see next term, which is the parametric test. Parametric tests. Now what is this parametric tests? Okay, so here this word defines itself, that test means you are applying some tests. So a class of the statistical test that involve the assumption about the distribution of the variables and the estimation of a parameter are known. They are known as the parametric test. So parametric tests are those when you have assumed that your data is normally distributed. Normally distributed data, actually there we apply the parametric tests. More you will see in the further videos where we will study about this parametric tests in detail. Now next is the word non-parametric test. Non-parametric tests. Just opposite of this. What is the definition? Let me say the definition is a test that does not involve the stringent assumptions about the distribution of the critical variables. It is known as the non-parametric test. So when you know that your data, it is not normally distributed, then at that time to just inference, to take the inference out of your data, we are applying this non-parametric test. To simplify for you, for example, like all the body parameters, like whenever you are taking the height, weight, all these things, we have assumed that they follow a normal distribution. So whenever you are taking the body parameters of the client or your sample, that time we are applying the parametric test. But here one thing to remember is whenever you are giving a scores, we have assumed that these scores follow a not normally distributed data. Okay, not normally distributed data. So this is the difference between the parametric and the non-parametric test. I hope this much is clear to you. So with this we have seen all the terms that I am going to use in my next videos. Now let us see the various types of data and the scales of measurement. Types of data and the scales of measurement. Now the various types of data and the scales of the measurements. So data, it can be classified as the quantitative data. So quantitative data in the interval and the ratio scale, and the quantitative data in interval or the ratio scale, and the qualitative data in the nominal and the categorical. So here nominal. So for example, if you are taking a gender, so gender can be either male, female or indeterminate. Okay, or you can say it as a marital status. Either a woman will be married or unmarried. So this is a categorical data. Or if you are taking a data in a just yes or no form, that is also a categorical data. And if you will see in the interval and the ratio scale, so the 4 levels of measurement here only I have defined is the interval, it is the ratio, and then next, or you can say the nominal and the ordinal. So the 4 measures, the 4 levels of measurement or the scales of measurements are the nominal types of comorbidities, and then ordinal, example the income status. So nominal, then ordinal, nominal, ordinal, then interval, and then the ratio. Now let us see this in the detail. So the first is, we have seen the nominal. So nominal, if you are just writing the name of any comorbidity, name of comorbidity. Okay, so that is the nominal scale. If you are talking about the ordinal scale, if you have taken your data on the ordinal scale, for example, let me give you an example like income status. So you know the order is, we can say the upper class, social class, middle, and the lower. So this is in a order. Okay, so this is following a particular order, that is why we have taken it in a ordinal scale. Then next scale is the interval scale. Now what is the example and which all things can be taken in the interval scale? It is the age range. So the range, it can be from 15 to 40 years. For example, you have the interval of the, if you will see the preschoolers, the toddler. So the toddler, we define it as the from 2 to 3 or 1 to 3 years. Okay, so this way we are defining the interval scale. Then next, last is the ratio scale. Now what is the example of the ratio scale? Like we can see the weight is to height ratio. Weight is to height ratio. So this is the example of the ratio scale. So I hope the scales of the measurement, they are clear to you. Now let us just revise what we have seen in this video so that you will memorize all the things and you do not have to just go and study this particular just the introductory class of the statistics again. Okay, so let us see. So in the first I have told you that we will see the introduction, definition, uses, application, terms, and the types of data, or you can say the scales of the measurement. So the first thing, I have given you the introduction, and then I have defined the word statistics. It has, if you will say, it has come from the Italian word. The word is statista, which means the statesman. If you will say, it has originated from the German word, and the German word is the statistic, which means the political state. And next we have seen the definition given by the Croxton and Cowden. So they have seen this. They have said that the statistics, it is the collection, presentation, analysis, interpretation of the numerical data. Then nextly we have seen the uses. So in uses we have seen that it presents your data in the definite form. It helps in the comparison, it simplifies your data, it helps in the formulation and the testing of the hypothesis, and it also helps in the prediction. Then when we have seen the applications, we have seen that statistics helps in just distinguishing between the normal and the not normal data, and also it helps in the planning of the experiments and also analysis of it, then collection, and also in generating the evidence-based practices. Then I have discussed about the terms. So in terms we have seen the word data, we have seen the qualitative data, quantitative data. Main thing here is data. Whenever you are talking about a data, so you have to see that data is the set of values that are recorded on one or more observational units. The qualitative data, it is a quality. Okay, quantitative data we have divided. If you are taking, again I am repeating, from the statistics side, we have divided it into the discrete data and the continuous data. Discrete data is which is in a whole number. Number of a children in a family is an example. So it cannot be 1.5, 2.5. Okay, so it will be either 1, either 2 or 3. Continuous data, example is height, weight, body temperature. Why? Because they can be taken in a fraction, that is 98.4 degree Fahrenheit. Then we have seen the parameters, which is the characteristics of the population. We have seen the parametric test. We are applying this parametric test whenever your data is normally distributed. Non-parametric test whenever you have not normal distribution in your data. Then we have seen the types of data, or you can say the scales of measurement. So we have total 4 scales of measurements, that are nominal, ordinal, interval and the ratio. So in the nominal, we have seen the example whenever you are naming the comorbidities. In the ordinal, the income status we have seen. In the interval, we can say the age ranges. And then in the ratio scale, we have seen height is to weight ratio we have seen. So in this video, I have completed the introduction, definition, uses, application, terms and types of scale. In my next video, the various forms, the various classification of the statistics I will be covering. So just wait for my next video and please try to focus on this particular video. Most of your doubts will be cleared in this video. So if you like my video, please, if you have not subscribed my channel, please do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that next video notification will be sent to you. And for watching this video, thank you so much.